Very much for coming. With each of these talks, I know there's a lot of great speakers on, and it's been my privilege to have a space for 2 days where we can talk about the mind, we can talk about emotional eating. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the psychology of love, why we fall in and fall out of love. Tony talked earlier about mental fitness, reprogramming the subconscious mind, and being more present. So for me, it's, you know, when someone entrusts you to put a tent where you're going to talk about the mind, and you have so many other great speakers and great topics, you worry sometimes that maybe what if no one turns up. So thanks for being here. And we're going to do a little session for 30 to 35 minutes. We're going to focus on a couple of different things. The title of the talk is The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And for me, one of the biggest things I've done is to try to take control of my subconscious mind. And the reason I say that is that we talk about the mind and the body, and we talk about the brain and the body. The first thing I want to do is say is the brain is not the mind, because your brain is a physical substance. You can see it, you can touch it, it exists, it creates chemicals and neurotransmitters. We've brain imaging, and what we know and what Tony explained this morning is your brain is living and acting. It responds to your thoughts, it responds to the food you eat. The only design flaw with the brain is behind our eyes, we can't see it. And what I know is that we tend to take care of the things that we can see. And more importantly, we tend to take care of the things that other people see. I had a real example of this when I was growing up. I grew up in a small house, 8 kids, mum and dad, 10 of us in it. And after finishing dinner, 8 kids, table being a mess, place to be flittered. We'd just be sitting down, and next thing, a neighbour or the posh cousin would pull up outside, and my mother would send out that code. She'd say, "Quick, clean the house." Now, I don't know if you lived in a house like me, but we all had that code. Clean the house. Now that didn't mean get up and go around the entire house and clean it impeccably. What my mother was saying was, quick, tidy the room. And what that looked like was opening presses, throwing things really quick, hiding things under the chair, and that was great. Now the visitor would come in and they'd sit in a room, and it looked fairly calm and clean, and they'd be relaxed, and my mother would be sitting there proud, and then the visitor would ask the question that would get us all, and the question was, "Can I use your bathroom?" And my mother would look at me, because to go through our bathroom you had to go through the kitchen, that was like a bomb site, out into the hall that was littered with gear bags, boxing gloves, Wellingtons. You had to go through the back kitchen, which the dog was probably in there, and then to the bathroom. What I learned growing up is that we tend to take a lot of care of the things, the areas and the spaces that people see. We tend to take care of the things that other people see, so that we won't be judged, or that we're seen in a certain way. And I'll talk later on about sometimes we sacrifice self-acceptance for social acceptance. The brain is one of those things that we don't see. And because we don't see it, we always don't mind it the way it should be. Tony in his talk this morning asked questions. If you were to hold your brain for a few minutes, and you had to mind that brain for 24 hours, and it was going to go back in your head again, would you pour coffee over it? Would you pour alcohol over it? Would you blast it with loud music? Would you shout negative things at it? I really believe sometimes if we could see our brain, we take better care of it, because your brain is a real physical thing. And through neuroplasticity, the brain changes shape depending on what you're thinking about, depending on what where your focus is. That becomes your brain. But the brain is physical, the mind isn't. The mind is memories, expectations, imagination. Mind has nothing to do with matter. And yet what we all know is mind overcomes matter all the time. We live in a world where we have so much physical disease. And we can't figure out why, because we've never had access to more information about wellness. And yet our hospitals are full. Be it physical hospitals or skin disorders, so what's driving that sickness? What's driving that disease? For me, if you look at the words disease, lack of ease. It's not physical. Lack of ease in the mind, lack of ease in the spirit. Whatever is in your mind will eventually become your physical. Because what we've known now, even from a science point of view, one time ago we thought that the human body was a number of atoms that were put together really, really tight, and that every molecule was stacked tight together. Finally, we have the information to show us that's not the case whatsoever. What we have are molecules that are linked with space, linked by energy. And the energy that we create through our thoughts, through our emotions, through the food we eat, is far more powerful than what we do physically. The state, the health of our energy becomes the health of our physical being. The health of our mind not just becomes our physical being, it becomes our physical world. We have this incredible ability to manifest things physically through the power of our mind, through the power of energy. And what do we know about energy? We know that it can't be created, and we know that it can't be deconstructed. Once I say something, I can never take it back. Once I say something about myself, it's in presence. Once I say something about somebody else, that's out there. I can't take it back. But the beautiful question is, if this incredible body which I have is generating energy, which it is, and that energy can never be deconstructed, what happens to that energy when this physical body dies? It's a good question, isn't it? Another question is, what makes you you? Because we can talk about energy and it's a little bit waffly, it's a little bit, this guy's gone mad, he's hippie. But energy is a real thing. And it's far more powerful than anything physical. And if anybody lives in a house where somebody has a mental health issue or somebody has an alcohol issue, you'll understand what I'm talking about, because the minute you open the door, if they're in the house, before you see them, you know what mood they're in. You know if they've been drinking. You can sense it. You can feel it. We have a world that is over-focused on the physical far too often. And yet we know now that energetically, long before I open my mouth, people can sense my energy. I like this guy, I don't like this guy. I like what he said, but something doesn't feel right. My gut doesn't tell me. Another great little thing, I asked a friend of mine that has twins, and he struggled with this energy. That's you, that God thing, and you're gone mad. It's all physical. And I said to him, because he had two twin boys, both had the exact same weight, same shoe size, same everything. I said, if you were in your kitchen some night, and one of them comes down for a drink of water or something, but you can't see them, would you know which son it is? He said, yes, I would. How would you know? Because physically they're identical. Energetically, they're different. Some people have a real calm, composed, gentle spirit. Some people have a real awakened, positive. Some people have an anxious spirit. Some people have an angry energy. And whether you know it or not, everybody else is sensing it, feeling it. And that energy that you're creating on a daily basis is driving your physical to become sick or well. That energy, those thoughts that you're having, has the ability to manifest people and things into your life. Because you will attract the energy that you put out. If I'm putting out an anxious, stressed, negative energy, I'll only attract the people into my life who are interested in that type of energy. Yesterday we came in, we walked this site here yesterday evening, and it was bucketing rain. And I said to Anthony, don't worry Anthony, the weather's going to be amazing. Of course it will. My wife said something very struck this morning. She said, well, not just were you and Anthony willing it to be, but she said 10,000 people woke up this morning hoping that it would be dry. It's amazing how when we start to put something into the energy, when we start to manifest something from a mind, it has to become matter. It's amazing how many people, how many things that are in your life right now that you have manifested through your thoughts, through where you've put your focus, through your language. And yet we spend our life thinking about things as if, God, wasn't that coincidental? Isn't that coincidental that I met that person? Isn't it coincidental that I just happened to get diabetes? Well, really, if I hit pause and relive the last 5 years of life, the way you walked, the way you talked, the way you slept, maybe it's not that coincidental. Maybe it's not coincidental that you two happen to meet somewhere. Because something draws you to certain people. The power of the mind is the power of our energy. So when we talk about the subconscious mind is that which lies below the conscious. The conscious mind is really just navigating you in a day-to-day safety. So if I'm walking this way, my conscious mind will say, step left or right, don't get hit. The conscious mind is just the sat-nav that's taking you on a route. And it's a safe route. Conscious mind is a collection of your memories, your experiences, your expectations, and your beliefs. And very often we're so caught up with the subconscious mind that we leave the conscious mind with no other choice but to find those things. And there's lots of examples in our everyday life. We walk into a coffee shop and we've had a really busy morning. And we're really at that point now, we're really looking forward to a nice flat white. And the minute we walk in through the doors and we see the brown couches and the nice green sign, your subconscious says, I remember being here before. And I walked up to this guy and he gave me something brown in a cup and it felt warm and it smelled a certain way. And you drank it. And I remember 45 minutes after you drank it, your mind felt better. The subconscious now has made a decision. A, I like this place. B, I'm going to get nice coffee and I'm going to feel better. Once your subconscious mind has made that decision, you have no choice but to experience that. So you walk up, you queue, and you think, well, maybe I won't have a flat white today. Maybe I'll change something. Your subconscious saying, are you crazy? Change? Something different? It might be nice. Flat white. You say, yeah, but I'm a bit tired of the flat white. I've had that all the... Yeah. Because your subconscious mind doesn't want better. It doesn't really want exciting. It wants safety. It wants security. It wants familiar. So I queue up. Maybe I'll go for something. Yeah, I definitely go for something different. What would you like? Flat white, please. Why did I go for that? But I queue up. I get the coffee. And you know that minute where you just want that cup of tea or that cup of coffee and you can't wait for it. And you take the first sip and you get the smell and the sense. How long does it take for that instant effect? How long does it take for that effect? That little bit of clarity, that feels good. How long does that take? What do we think? Well, straight away. It's fairly instant, isn't it? The caffeine isn't even in your stomach. Never mind your system. The experience that you're just after having is an unconscious experience that your unconscious mind believed you were going to have. And once you believed you were going to have it, you had no choice but to have it. Because the experience you experience in your brain, that little bit of mental clarity, that calmness, has nothing to do with caffeine, it's everything to do with dopamine. And when you reward your subconscious by seeing the things that you expected to see, by doing the things that you expected to do, it hits you with dopamine and you feel good. I told you that was going to go that way. I told you they were going to laugh. So things never change. So we tell ourselves stories that support our subconscious bias. And it's called pattern matching. And it's a credible thing. We all carry memories and experience. And when we encounter any experience in the moment that reminds us even slightly of the past one, the subconscious very quickly says, I have this, we've seen this before, I know what's going to happen, and I'm going to give it to you. And the conscious brain says, but maybe this is different. No, it's not, it's the same. So we tend in a stressful situation, or in an anxious situation, or in a bored situation, we tend to respond the way we've always responded. What I've learned is your conscious mind is almost on a leash. It's on a leash, it's being held or anchored by your subconscious beliefs. And very often what you're experiencing on a day-to-day has very little to do with what's actually happening. What did I believe? I'm going to go into a meeting here and this person's out to get me. These crowd are going to be bored of my talk. Once I say something, once I launch that belief, my conscious mind then simply just scans my environment to get the things that prove that belief right. So to change a conscious belief, or a subconscious belief, little things like visualization. What's the day I would like to have today? What's the way I would like to talk about myself? When I go into this meeting, where's the opportunity, not the stress? Where's the calmness, not the chaos? What are the stories that I'm telling myself that actually aren't true? So when we look at the subconscious mind, for me, it's about putting out the energy that I want through positive affirmations. I am calm, I am secure, I am confident, I am me, I am present, I am in the moment. I've encountered a situation like this before, but I have never encountered this situation before. So I am here. So through positive affirmations, we begin to reprogram the subconscious mind. Through visualization, through seeing the things that you want, not the things you fear. And it's amazing how much of our life we spend trying to avoid the fear, try to avoid the pain, because there are only two human emotions, fear and love. Whichever one you focus on, that's the one that's going to come into your life. I hope something doesn't happen. The traffic is going to be chaos. We start to tell ourselves about the things that we fear, and that brings that into our life. Come on in, squeeze in. When you start to control your language, get rid of the word but, the word should. I should have been better. I should have spoken about something. Should is an emotional word that triggers the amygdala. Regret. Anxiety. I need to. We're full of words, we're full of buts, shoulds, needs, and they go nowhere. Let's pretend you, for some reason, you got injured, but it's a bit worse than that. And let's say you were bleeding to death, and you had to be in the hospital in 15 minutes. And you said, Gerry, will you bring me to the hospital? And I said, I should bring you, and I could bring you, I should bring you, but I don't know if I can bring you. Are you going to hang around? If you're the type of person that's using buts, could, shoulds, mights, needs, don't expect very positive people to hang around. If I'm standing here and I'm standing at a stove and I'm cooking rashers and sausages, which I like sometimes, and I'm cooking them all day long and I'm right over it, and then I turn the cooker off and I walk down and here's a nice vegetarian and I'm sitting beside him. What can you smell? You can smell what I've been doing, but he can't see it. Personal hygiene goes beyond what we physically smell like. What do my conversations smell like? What do my words smell like? What do the things I talk about smell like? If somebody is in my energy, if somebody is in my presence for 15 minutes, what has it done for them? What has it made them think about? What's the picture I've created? To invest our time and our energy into creating the picture of the life that I would like, the conversations that I would want to have, the people that I want to bring into my life. Once I start to give that unconscious, once I start to manifest that energy, it's amazing what happens. You'll never guess who I met, Gerry. Recently I had an experience where I'd been for acupuncture and I'd never been there before, and I never had acupuncture before. And I'm lying there, and the acupuncture is nice, but it's in these tiny little cubicles, so you can hear everybody talking. So the lady across the way comes in. I can't see her, but I can hear her, and she's talking to the therapist. And I says, "How are you doing?" "Ah, jeez, the weather's been terrible." "Yeah, but how's your back?" "Ah, it's not great." And you won't believe, I was walking down, I came off the curb, and jeez, I hurt my back again. And you won't believe what happened then. My old dog died. The poor dog died. I don't know what happened to him. Ran out in front of the car and got hit. And you'd never guess what happened to me then. Right? And then she said, "But," so you want to say, "Well, is there anything nice going on at all?" "Well, we went on holidays." And I thought, "Thank God, it was a good news." "Ah, but the weather was terrible," she said. And then she said, "And you never guess what happened to me again. I was nearly going to jump off the bed and say, 'Hold on a second here. I've no idea what happened, but I bet you it was negative. And I bet you believe that you're unlucky. And I bet you believe that it's coincidental. But if you could just listen to your words, listen to the things you're focused on, listen to your energy, you're sucking all this stuff into your life.'"